Hello, today I want to make an oral summary about The Snake Charmer, which is a 2017 documentary released by Al Jazeera, which revolves around Amir Khan, which is one of the most popular actors in India. And since the 1970s, throughout the 1980s to 90s, as many as 70% of Bollywood films have featured depictions of female rape. It has led to many of these films endorsing shallow female stereotypes and promoting violence against women. And Khan had actually, throughout his acting career, grown accustomed to starring in these films that propagated sexist themes. But that all changed in 2012 when his plagued conscience finally reached to a state of him wanting to create and host a show called Satyamev Jayate, which means the victory of truth in English. It's a prime-time program which tackles issues related to female abuse and empowerment of women, as well as rape, female infanticide, and dowry crimes. So there was actually some examples of positive political changes happening as a result of these episodes. So the first one is in the episode of female infanticide. It actually made a small difference in the federal state of Maharashtra, where the government stated that the ratio of male to female births was changing slightly. And they associated this episode to be the culprit of the change. And the other example of positive change is from the episode Rape and Violence Against Women, where it got Maneka Gandhi, which is the Minister of Children's and Women's Welfare, to accept the suggestion of opening these new centers for rape victims across the country. And she also made all her government officers watch the episode throughout, just so they could learn a bit about this stuff as well. There was also actually some public backlash against Khan due to this show. And first, it actually comes from many media outlets which were enraged or didn't think it was fair that even though they had published stuff about these issues and written about them for several years, no one batted an eye against it. But then suddenly, when Khan said the same things, a public figure, a Bollywood actor, then people suddenly cared. They didn't think it was fair. And there actually also started coming incoming threats from these minority groups, which first started with them creating photos of him standing with Muslim terrorists to try and deplatform him or defame him, which was of course unsuccessful. And it also actually evolved to them coming to his doorstep, burning pictures of him and wanting him to leave the country, and actually also wanting to hurt him. And there was, in this instance, there were speeches from public figures that were being made. These public figures were affected by the episodes and wanted him to stop making them. And they thought it was a good idea that he could leave the country and not come back, because he thought he was now a disgrace and didn't belong in the society of India. It was also actually a real possibility, because the wife of Khan was afraid for the well-being of their child, and actually thought that he didn't have enough safety in the house they were located in. But it all culminated in him leaving the industry for 2 years, having a 2-year break from the end of the first season, and then coming back in 2014 to make the second and third season. Then he had another little break until he made a movie in 2016 called Dangal, which was about the story of Geeta and Babita, which were Olympic medalists in wrestling from 2010. And it depicts the story of these girls having a father which trained them and allowed them to be empowered and reaching higher status through gender equality and stuff like that. And it actually shows what emotional maturity from Amir Khan in terms of like what he has learned while making this television series. And actually, this movie ended up becoming the highest grossing film in Bollywood history as of 2017, and that's very good, because the audience of these films was often upwards of hundreds of millions of viewers, because India is a very big country, and Yeah, so in conclusion, what we can say about this documentary is that if we look inwards as a society and all try to ask questions about these hard issues, then we can be agents for change, and this documentary is a potent reminder of this fact. Thank you for listening to my summary.